Imagine waking up to find out the highest court in the land has just stripped the president of a major power. A decision that could change the cost of everything you buy, from your morning coffee to your family car. For years, tariffs, those extra charges slapped on goods from overseas, have quietly shaped what we pay for products and how our economy runs. They're supposed to make foreign imports pricier, so local businesses have a fighting chance. But these taxes can hit consumers hard, making everyday essentials like clothes, phones, and groceries more expensive. Now, in a dramatic twist, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump went too far in using them. This isn't just about taxes, it's about who really calls the shots in America's economic playbook. A tariff is basically a financial barrier, a tax designed to make foreign products cost more. If the U.S. slaps one on Japanese cars, suddenly those cars cost extra for American buyers. The goal: give domestic industries a leg up. But when these taxes rise, so does the cost of living. Businesses that rely on imported materials get squeezed, and families feel the pinch at the checkout counter. Tariffs don't exist in a vacuum. They can ignite full-blown trade wars. One nation raises tariffs, another fires back, and soon the global economy starts to feel the heat. The Trump administration took a bold step by invoking the *** International Emergency Economic Powers Act ***, a 1977 law meant for national security crises like freezing terrorist funds or cutting trade with hostile states. The twist: Trump declared trade deficits a national emergency and used that as a green light for sweeping tariffs. No president had ever used emergency powers on economic measures before. Small business owners fought back, arguing that trade deficits aren't the same as war or terrorism. To them, it was an overreach, a shortcut to bypass Congress. And the highest court in the land agreed. The Supreme Court made it clear: only Congress has the authority to manage trade policy and impose these kinds of taxes. This ruling didn't happen overnight. It started in a lower court, where small businesses challenged the tariffs and won. The government appealed, but the appeals court also sided with the business owners. Finally, the case landed in front of the Supreme Court, and the justices delivered a decisive blow. The president can no longer label everyday trade disputes as emergencies just to sidestep Congress. The decision resets the balance of power in Washington. From now on, major trade changes like tariffs will have to pass through public debate, hearings, and votes in Congress. It means slower decisions, but more transparency. Markets reacted instantly. The dollar shifted, stocks jumped, and global traders breathed a sigh of relief. International companies selling to the U.S. celebrated, knowing their goods just got cheaper for American buyers. But the shift isn't without challenges. For decades, industries like steel and aluminum have relied on tariffs as a protective wall, shielding them from cheaper imports that could undercut domestic prices. These tariffs didn't just raise the cost of foreign goods. They provided a cushion for American manufacturers, allowing them to compete in a market that might otherwise have been dominated by overseas producers with lower labor costs, cheaper raw materials, and less stringent environmental regulations. Without these protective measures, these industries will now be forced to stand on their own, facing direct competition from global players who can often deliver products at a fraction of the price. This sudden exposure could be a hard reality for some sectors. Steel mills that have been able to maintain stable production thanks to tariffs may find themselves squeezed as cheaper imports flood the market. Aluminum producers, already grappling with volatile commodity prices, may be forced to scale back operations or even shut down plants that can't match the efficiency of foreign competitors. In turn, communities that depend on these industries, often small towns where a single factory can be the backbone of the local economy, could face job losses, declining tax revenues, and reduced economic activity. Jobs could be at risk not just in manufacturing plants, but in the ripple effect industries that support them. Transport companies that haul raw materials, service providers that maintain machinery, and even small businesses in industrial towns, from diners to grocery stores, could feel the pinch if large employers start cutting staff. And for the workers themselves, many of whom have spent decades mastering highly specialized skills, the shift could mean facing an uncertain job market where their expertise is less in demand. Retraining programs might be necessary, but such transitions are rarely smooth or fast. Yet, this new reality isn't entirely bleak. While some sectors may shrink, others could seize fresh opportunities. Companies that have been shut out of certain global markets due to retaliatory tariffs might now find new customers abroad. Importers of raw materials or components will see costs drop, giving them more flexibility to innovate, expand, and compete on price. Industries like technology, retail, and automotive manufacturing, which rely heavily on imported parts, may be able to reduce expenses and pass on some of those savings to consumers. And then, there's the biggest change of all, predictability. For years, businesses have operated under the shadow of sudden tariff announcements that could upend budgets and disrupt supply chains overnight. A single tweet, speech, or executive decision could change the economics of an industry in a matter of hours. Now, with Congress reclaiming its role in trade policy, those days may be largely over. Instead of abrupt, unilateral changes, any significant shift in tariffs will likely go through the slower, more transparent process of legislative debate. This predictability means businesses can plan long-term strategies with greater confidence. Manufacturers can lock in supply contracts without fearing a sudden spike in import costs. Retailers can stock up on goods, knowing their pricing models won't be blindsided by unexpected taxes. Investors, too, can make more informed decisions, reducing the volatility that has plagued certain industries in recent years. Still, while this new stability may be welcomed by many, it also comes with a trade-off. Change will be slower. In moments when rapid action might be necessary, for instance, to respond to sudden economic threats or unfair trade practices, the congressional process may not move quickly enough. That's why some critics argue that this ruling could make the U.S. less agile in defending its economic interests on the world stage. Ultimately, this transition marks a pivotal moment in America's trade history. For industries long accustomed to government protection, the road ahead will be more competitive and uncertain. For others, the removal of tariffs could unlock growth and open doors to new markets. And for the economy as a whole, the era of unpredictable, last-minute tariff changes is giving way to a slower but steadier approach, one where strategy replaces shock and planning replaces panic. Whether that shift proves to be a boon or a burden will depend on how businesses, workers, and lawmakers adapt to this new reality. This wasn't just a win for small business owners, it was a victory for the U.S. Constitution and the principle that no one person holds unlimited economic power. It shows how determined citizens can challenge even the most powerful office in the country and win. The battle over tariffs may be over, but the fight over America's economic future is just beginning. With Congress back in the driver's seat, the next chapter in U.S. trade policy is sure to be one of heated debates, big decisions, and global impact.